The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus have been out long enough for iLounge editors to comprehensively test them. There's a lot to love about these new iPhones, but there's also some changes that users won't be fond of. Our full review of the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus dissects all of the good and the bad details, so we're just going to run through a handful of these biggest surprises here. Had it not been for the overshadowing iPhone 6 Plus, the iPhone 6 would have been a substantial update all on its own. Despite further size differences, both iPhones take design cues from the 5th generation iPod Touch, iPad mini, and iPad Air. Apple has reverted back to a more rounded design with curved rather than flat sides, which had been seen since iPhone 4. Apple's new screens are beautiful, capable of being seen more easily outdoors and accurately displaying more colors on straight and off angles. What you're most likely to notice is the bigger 6 Plus screen, which is halfway between an iPhone 5S and an iPad mini. It has a lot more room for typing, games, and videos, while the iPhone 6 screen is mostly taller than the prior iPhone 5 models. The sleep-wake button has moved to the right side of both models of the iPhone, which might drive you a little crazy if you hate change. From a design standpoint, the sleep button in its new position makes the most sense as it's right there where your finger naturally rests when holding an iPhone. But when you turn the phone on its side to take pictures or try to make screenshots, it's an awkward place to have a spare button. The curvier, thinner, larger design of the 6 and 6 Plus make the iPhone 5S look a little outdated from the moment you see them together. Shockingly, the protruding camera in the 6 and 6 Plus didn't bother us like we'd expect. The protruding camera doesn't destabilize the iPhone when it's rested on a flat surface, it only juts out just a tiny bit. Speaking of the camera, other smartphones may offer higher megapixel counts, but Apple has chosen to make a better camera by improving it in different ways. It packs a new sensor, improved face detection, and the best autofocus feature ever put into an iPhone, something Apple calls focus pixels. The 6 Plus adds a built-in optical image stabilizer to reduce the impact of handshaking and other camera motions while shooting, which actually makes videos less jittery than prior iPhones. Images from the 6 and 6 Plus have noticeably higher dynamic range than the 5S, as well as richer colors. Great video on the 5S was made even better with the addition of 240 frames per second slow motion capture. Almost anything you can imagine looks cooler in slow motion. With users using their cameras more often, battery life and charging would be a concern for anyone. Battery life on the iPhone 6 is slightly improved from the iPhone 5S versus a more major improvement on the iPhone 6 Plus. You can count on using the iPhone 6 for about an hour longer than the iPhone 5S, whereas the iPhone 6 Plus can at least run through an entire day, a fairly frequent interaction, without a recharge. Don't expect 2 days of continuous use unless you rarely touch your phone. Recharging the new iPhones isn't as speedy as the iPhone 5S. The iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus come with Apple's slower 1A charging adapters, but we found both devices are able to support 2.1A charging under some circumstances. Demanding games and GPS apps, for instance, can push the iPhones to use more than 1A power. With Apple's more powerful iPad power adapters, they can continue to recharge while using the extra juice. What this means practically will vary on how you use your iPhone and when you want to recharge it. As much as we'd love to whip out our iPhones and pay for something using Apple Pay, we can't. Although it's a signature feature of the new iPhones, the wireless payment feature Apple Pay still hasn't rolled out to major retailers yet. Until Apple Pay is more readily available, don't get too excited about its potential. As we mentioned in our first look video, this is the most dramatic redesign since the iPhone 4. The increased displays, increased storage, increased camera specs, and increased battery life make for a great experience for the user. If you're new to an iPhone, the iPhone 6 is your best bet. It has a better chance of fitting in your hand and resembles the size and weight of Android phones you might have been looking at with some envy. If you're a physically taller or very active iPhone user who wants extra battery life, improved camera, and a much bigger keyboard for typing, then iPhone 6 Plus will be your ideal device. Just beware its larger surface area and thinner body might bend in your pocket, though Apple says only a few people have experienced that. For much more information about the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, check out our comprehensive 8-page review on iLounge.com. Both models earned our rare high recommendation.